Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic Indie Creator interview. It is your Caped Crusader, Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with our returning friend, Pam Cakes. We're here to break down Art of War and everything in between Chapter 4 and 5. Pam, how have you been since you last been on? You are giving my good friend Edwin a run for his money with the championship of Keeping It Geekly. Haven't been on the show so many times, so of course we always love getting a nice update and refresher on who you are and everything. But before we get to that, what's been new since you've been last been on?
A lot of art and a lot of talking, like a lot of networking. Like I've done a lot of networking, probably more than I've done like at any time before with any other thing I've worked on. Like there's so many people kind of interested in Art of War, kind of want to know what it's about, want to see more artwork, like behind the scenes stuff. Everybody wants to see sketches. Everybody wants to see like where it's going, like where is it headed, like is it going to a big publisher? Is it going to a little publisher? Am I just putting it out self-publishing? Like it's just been a lot of like networking talk. Like I've probably talked to a lot of people in the past like month or like
Is
a
it
month.
is it like weird? Is that like stretching your comfort zone, like doing that?
Not really. Not really. It's not stretching that part at all. It's just it's definitely not have been. It's not really normal for me though. Like I haven't networked that much, but it's definitely been fun though. Like it's always fun talking about the story and just giving people insight on what Art of War is about. So yeah, it's been fun talking to them in that aspect, like about the story. It's about artwork, about the characters. I've been getting a couple commissions done here and there too.
Okay, no, that is cool. We always love hearing about art and new artwork and commissions as well. Are you looking at adding any new characters to the roster? Like, I mean, how far have you started scripting out Art of War in terms of like just like the bare bones for the next upcoming chapters?
As far as like the entire script, I have the whole story like actually scripted out, like even in panel form, like all numbered panels. Like the entire story is actually done. Like the as far as like character designs though, I pretty much have like the first core of Art of War. I'll call them. I pretty much split it up into three parts. So it's like the first introduction part. Then it's the second, like the meat part is like the big, all the big stuff in the story happens in the middle, like in the second core, and then the third core is kind of like the final stretch to the end. In that first core, I pretty much have all my character designs, like every single character design of important characters. They're all pretty much done.
Okay.
I literally only have one more character to design for the first core, and then I can move on to the second core of character designs. But I definitely have them all in mind, though, as far as what they'll each look like and hair color, if they're wearing glasses or if they're wearing hats or do they have piercings. I pretty much got a general idea on most of that stuff.
Okay, so for anyone who might be new and might be watching this for the first time, let's give a little bit of a catch up of who you are and what Art of War is about.
So I'm Pam. I am a manga creator, and Art of War is definitely my priority manga. I've made a webtoon before called Program Makani, which is a sci-fi action. I moved on to Art of War, and Art of War is pretty much it's set in a setting, pretty much a fun setting of where the characters can draw their weapon literally. So you can draw your weapon on a notepad or like a table or pretty much anything that your drawing would show up on. And then they use key serum energy to actually materialize that weapon into reality. So it's kind of like one of those play on words type of thing. That's pretty much how the whole thing started, was draw your weapon. And then it was like, literally draw your weapon, then have it come to life. And that's kind of what it's all cored around. And I pretty much made an original story from that mechanic, and it came out really good.
Okay, and then what is key serum energy? Like, what type of energy is that?
It'd probably be the equivalent to what chakra is in Naruto, and probably the same as ki in Dragon Ball Z, the same as curse energy in Jujutsu Kaisen. Pretty much the same aspect of just a core energy from the body that's equivalent to like natural, like spirit energy. Yeah, that's what I would pretty much sum up key serum energy to. I did want to give it its own unique property, so
Hmm.
I kind of put a liquid aspect to it, just because I thought that would be in line with being an artist. So like if you see the key serum energy in the pages today that we'll read, you'll kind of see the a little detail of like small little bubbles inside of
Okay.
like the energy. So it kind of gives it like a little its own signature, like its own signature type of energy to it,
So before
little
we dive,
attribute.
okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, you can go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, so before we dive
Oh
into
no.
chapter 4 and 5, give us a little bit of a recap of like what has happened so far in issues 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so chapter one, we actually meet Ronan and Sketch, and they are two artists from their own time zone who are pretty much based as legendary artists throughout the history of the time of the setting they were in Art of War. So Ronan is from the 1200s. Sketch, he's from the 1980s, and in their own time, they're probably the best artists like within their own time periods. So in their own time periods, they both disappeared at the end of the chapter in chapter one, like just mysteriously disappeared. It's not too explained,
Hmm.
but it does happen to where they both disappear. In chapter three, we kind of move on to the modern day. The modern day is where the story takes place, and that's where the main character is. Her name is Erin Baker, and she kind of wakes up in chapter two. She's late for her class. She ends up failing her class because she was late, and she's kind of it's kind of plants her a character that she's kind of this time bent student who kind of just is not giving it her all, but she's definitely interested in being an artist. And her favorite artist she mentions is Sass Nova, who's a popular artist in the city. The city is Blue York City. And from there, in chapter three, she realizes that she's late again to pretty much an underground showcase that Sass Nova is actually throwing. And she kind of runs into these two characters named Sully and Mickey. She kind of crashes into Mickey, makes her fall to the ground. And through that interaction, she meets Sully and Mickey. She gets their names, but she don't give out her names. It's kind of like a over her head type thing. She wasn't really thinking about it in the conversation. Then we, at the end of chapter three, they actually make it to the underground showcase. Um, Erin has a little run-in with one of her bully friends from school. They meet another character. We name her Bali later. Actually, it's not said in the chapter, but her name is actually Bali. I actually
Hmm.
revealed her on my own Twitter, and someone did a commission of her. But she's revealed, and as they're in this underground showcase, the chapter ends. Chapter three ends with these two mysterious guys who are on the second floor. They kind of jump over the railing, and they kind of fall down towards where the party is. And they definitely have the intention of crashing the party for sure.
Okay, so I think like right there's a perfect segue. Let's go ahead and crash on into chapter 4 and see what trouble is brewing. And then right here, and while we have everyone's attention, you can actually sign up to be a beta reader for Art of War. So right here is the link to do so. What's all required with signing up? Like, what's all some of the qualifications that you need?
Uh, Pretty much just be interested in the story. If you're interested in Art of War, the beta reading will just be chapters 1 through 8 all together. And I'm not sure how I'll send it to you, but I'm thinking PDF, just a PDF of the chapters 1 through 8 right to your email.
Okay.
Then I'll probably ask like a few survey questions for after the reading is over, like how you felt about it, which characters were your favorite, things of that nature. How did you like the art? Like a little rating, I guess, like a 1 through 10 on what did you think of the first 8 chapters. And the reason why I chose the first 8 chapters because the first 8 chapters kind of solidifies what Art of War is about and who the main characters are, and gives you a good adventurous like introduction of the story.
Hmm. We have a Gold RPG over on Twitch stopping in to say, got to be able to read. Yeah, I think that would be a
Yeah.
pretty big qualification. Gold, welcome on in. We're going to be actually streaming his indie game, The Last Chronomancer, after this interview. So I'm actually really excited for that. And Gold,
Yeah,
I don't know
that
how long
looks
you've been.
interesting. Oh, I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Oh no, you're fine. Gold, I don't know how long you've been watching for, but this would kind of be like a similar format where we would have like your game playing, like the gameplay footage playing in the background while we talked about it and broke different aspects and elements down. So I appreciate you stopping in and kind of getting a sense of how we do the indie comic stuff. So Pam, what are we looking at here? This is the first page of chapter 4.
Yeah, that's the first page of chapter 4. I want to say that indie game did look interesting, but
oh, it's so good. It's so
yeah,
I'm
it
not
looked
trying to
really
be biased, but
interesting,
oh
actually.
man, I love it, dude. I'm a sucker for RPGs.
Same. I love RPGs. It look really interesting. I love MMOs.
Dude, and the demo. So as far as I know, it's free to download, and I think it's like 4 hours long, so you get a big chunk of gameplay with it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna check out the interview right after when it goes on. I'm gonna definitely be here.
All right, so we are looking at the first page of chapter 4. What's going on right here, Pam?
So first page, chapter 4. Oh well, the last page, chapter 3. They jump over the rail. They're pretty much coming to crash the party. First page here, we have Mickey. She's kind of looking up, and she's like, "I hope they have parachutes," which is kind of just playing to her character that she's going to be saying aloof stuff throughout the story. Whenever she's involved, she's going to be saying like pretty much whatever comes to her mind. Technically, it's just like whatever. And then so these guys are making their way to the bottom floor. They kind of land here, hands down. As they get down here, we have this guy who's trying to check them. He kind of gets a right cross across the face.
So what was some of your inspiration for these character designs? I mean, they look like antagonists.
Yeah, definitely. So the guy on the left, black hair. I actually had the character Hay in mind from Darker Than Black. I had the character Hay, but I wanted longer hair, and I wanted someone who kind of had that resting blank face. And the lead antagonist here, he's kind of I just want him a little bit spicy, definitely a little bit looking a little bit dangerous. He got the needles on his shoulders. He kind of got the little flame soul like design on his jacket. I just wanted something with a little bit of flair, and I want them to offset each other. So if he's gonna be a talker, the lead antagonist, then the other big guy with the black hair, he's gonna just be the provoker, like the enforcer guy who's gonna do the physical part of what they're trying to do here, which is crash the party.
We have a gold RPG. They both look like they'd fit well into a bar in Akira.
Yeah, they kind of offset each other very well. He kind of gives a right cross to the little random bystander who's checking them.
I love this little.
Pretty cool too.
Right here, he's a perfect version of Silent but Deadly. Like, come on, man. It's like, why you gotta introduce me like that?
Yeah, he's kind of giving off the vibes too that he's that way, a little bit deadly. Yeah, and this is actually where I dropped the chapter name too. Chapter 4 showcase. This guy, he's clearly like a big talker. He's gonna rile the crowd up, and he's gonna start doing that by talking to them, talking about where it's Sass Nova, because that's who they're all there to see anyway. He's gonna rile the crowd up.
So let's give a shout out to the creative team too, because you have a studio doing the art for you, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep, their name is Kai-Fi Studio, and yeah, he took art direction very well here. Like I did this is the first chapter that my own draft went into play, to where I drafted the entire chapter for what it would look like. Then he he put his own spin on certain areas, and did a really good job.
So do you think you're gonna see yourself like maybe trying to take a stab at doing some of the art at all in the future, or is that still kind of a ways away?
Probably definitely a ways away for direct art, but for stuff like paneling, and then the typesetting, like the speech bubbles, then maybe some stuff in the background. I can definitely I've definitely already kind of took a stab at a little bit, but yeah, he definitely did a good job here. Like as far as the last page you're on, like I had the character kind of looking straight forward, but he kind of turned him to the side a bit, gave him like an expression. Like he did a really good job doing that.
Yeah, Gold RPG, the art style looks decent. Yeah, I've always, like, since chapter 1, have been a fan of the art style and the way the characters looked and everything. Especially with a manga that's really focused on them drawing their weapons, art would be a big focal point of it. So I mean, it's important to make sure you nail that style, and I think you guys really captured it well.
Yeah, the whole Art of War, what it is really going to be core around, like the strips, it's going to be martial arts and art itself. So definitely the artwork had to be at a standard. And this actually is my third go around, like my third artist that I tried with, and we kind of clicked perfectly.
So right here, it looks like we have the main antagonist kind of trying to stir up some trouble, calling people out at the venue. And then right here, I guess
Yeah.
I'll be doing a solo act. So, I mean, it looks like he might be biting off a little more than he thought he could chew, though.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to set the mood. He's riling everybody up. He's trying to get a show going. And yeah, apparently he was done waiting for Saz Nova, so he took the matter into his own hands a little bit.
And then we have our main protagonist stepping up to stop the creep. I love how aggro, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like how much she is like about just like stepping up into the face of danger without like no problem at all.
Yeah, Aaron will definitely act on impulse and not really like logic sometimes, because yeah, she's not really in any position to fight anyone at this moment. So we actually work our way up to that. But at this moment, I don't really like, if I was just inside the story and knew her personally, I would say I'm not sure what she's getting at by yelling at this guy who's stirring up the crowd. But she definitely acts on impulse.
And then we see these two are about to step up to her. So yeah, she definitely might have bit off more than she could chew at the same time, right?
Yeah, she kind of start stuttering a bit after he challenged her. After he and if I don't get lost, and she's like, or I'll like kind of stammering over her words a little bit. And then this is where we kind of reveal what the palette looks like, and then actually what a sketch and a materialize on that palette looks like. And this is
So
actually a 3D digital palette. That's what we
so the
call it.
palette is an armband like on the wrist. Like how does that work?
Yeah, so it's an armband on the wrist, and this is going to display a 3D drawing ball. That's what we're gonna go with, and we're gonna call the whole device a palette. Just gonna call it a palette.
Hmm.
So when he's drawing on the palette, it's actually like a the space on the 3D ball that's spinning that he's drawing on is actually it goes forever in an imaginary line. Like in science, it's called a imaginary line, like on a plane. So when he's drawing like in a circle, like he can draw for as long as he wants, and the weapon will be like, probably it can be like 12 feet long if he really wanted to. Like it'll just keep spinning and the space will keep going. It's kind of like a science thing that I thought about explaining it here, but I definitely wanted to do it later and not do like an
Yeah.
info dump in the middle of the scene. But
I
yeah,
like how it materializes out of this. It's almost like this ball is like speaking of game development, it's like when you're modeling,
uh,
it's like that ball in the programs, like the model clay ball, where you have to model it and play, stretch it out to fit the different features and stuff.
uh yeah, it definitely was some science into thinking about what this was going to be, but simply just a 3D ball that he's drawing on that he's going to materialize using key serum, which is
Yeah, I love this little pose right here too.
yeah, yeah, he's
Oh,
kind of sassy with it.
we have a gold RPG. Can it be used to materialize a spare pair of shoes? The question is, I guess a better question is, how long does this stuff last for? Because you could draw anything you want to, right?
Yeah, and that actually comes up later too, to where more solid artists can probably draw something that will last forever. That's how when I was just telling you, like, just offhand, like in the story in the background there is like architects that are in this setting and stuff. They probably draw like buildings and stuff like that. But for a regular artist, like their weapon will actually disappear after a while. Like it'll kind of materialized into like key serum energy. Like it'll go back into energy.
So at least make sure you're not drawing your clothes on at this point, unless you're a really good artist, because you're gonna end up in an awkward situation. So we see the main antagonist smashing the disco ball, and this was the move that was the bad move, of course, because I think this is what's gonna draw out a little something that he wasn't anticipating.
So he asks her this, she want to see something cool. She responds. He jumps up and actually smashes the disco ball that's here at this underground showcase. Which of course on the next page is going to cause some type of pandemonium with all the glass falling down. He's going to land and actually rush towards Eren, clearly to her surprise. I really love how the artist did her hair in that panel.
This is really sinister too. Like, the first like chapter or two does not get like this, but like in this chapter, like he's right here, I'll shut your mouth forever, and it definitely seems like it has gotten a lot more adult, like in terms of like just like the violent nature of it.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely pick up. I mean, it's definitely a fun idea, like Art of War, and you wouldn't think it's like too in-depthly dark, and it's not too much in-depthly dark anyway. But later it actually does pick up to where you'll see. That's why I kind of set the tone in I think it's chapter 2, to where it was a news lady on the channel. She was kind of saying that there was a gang death in the city where a couple task force members who are police members, they got killed by a gang. Some deaths. I just want to definitely make a story pretty much to where later on it can be more like in depth and dark a little bit, and then at least touch on the aspect.
We see that she gets saved by someone, and I thought this was a nice little cliffhanger too, like not revealing who it was right off the bat. Just the earring. Is there any significance behind this earring? Is this like her symbol or anything?
So it's part of her character. Like her name is Saz Nova, so a part of her character is going to be like the cosmos, kind of like the stars, like space planets. And then the other part of her name is Saz, so her name is Saz Nova. She got a sassy attitude type of thing. So it's kind of just like a combination of those two themes. And we'll actually see her shoes in the next chapter, like up close her shoes, and you'll see in her shoes she got like a star pattern, on her shoes that she wears. So and it just kind of goes along with her branding pretty much.
I know when you said you were introducing like main important characters, there was always like the panel with like the roses beside them.
And they're kind of like sticking out of the panel, kind of above the other panels in the background.
So here is the end of chapter 4. So this leads directly into chapter 5. Before we go over there, was there anything else you wanted to say about chapter 4 before we dip onto chapter 5?
Chapter 4, I want to say I thought it was really good to start the whole conflict, because in this whole introduction like arc, pretty much from chapter 2 all the way to now, we're pretty much in the same day. So like Eren started the day being late for class, then we move at the nighttime. Here we are at the underground showcase, and she's in this pretty much altercation with these random guys, and Saz Nova kind of shows up, and they kind of get to go from there.
We have a gold RPG. I'd like to think that she's in astronomy rather than astrology. I know my girlfriend's like, she's into astrology, she's into the crystals and the chakra, and I'm just over here like, all right, like, I'll buy you the $5 rock if it'll make you happy. Like, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for too, like a astronomy type of style she has to her.
So let's go ahead and check out chapter 5, and this takes place right off the bat, right into the action. So right here's the main antagonist going up against Sassy Nova, and then his sidekick comes out of nowhere with a big mallet. So is he like, does he wield like, do they have like signature weapons, or do they just draw random weapons that fit the mood?
Uh, Probably weapons that they're used to. Like when he drew the bat, it's probably something that he was used to drawing. When he draw this mallet, it's probably something that he's used to drawing. But to touch on the signature weapons, that does come into play to where signature weapon does come into play for the artist itself.
Okay.
If you're drawing something more comfortable that you know how to draw, it'll come out probably with more strength than something that you would draw like newly. Like if you wasn't used to drawing like a big mallet and you try to draw one, it's probably not going to come out as sharp and as detailed and as impactful as you wanted. And
Hmm.
if you were used to drawing like a katana or something.
I like how agile she is, and right here, like, let's get close with the laugh and the smirk right there. You know, it's a nice little callback to the previous chapter.
Yeah, it's kind of like when this chapter first started, when she shows up, clearly the other thug, the silent but deadly thug, he just that's who he's pretty much definitely probably there for. He wants to fight her, and he wasn't really interested in causing a scene with the actual crowd and stuff. But yeah, she's definitely probably gonna want to get this guy. I think she says why in the next couple pages, pretty much because he destroyed the disco ball that was hers, pretty much.
And then this is the official name of chapter 5, Curtain. And we
Yeah.
see Sassy Nova getting ready to. She's sparring up. She's squaring up. She's getting ready to throw down.
Yeah, she sends a kick to him. As she does that, he gets caught by his buddy. Then she's there with her pose, and that's the shoes that I was talking about, where it kind of
Hmm.
has like stars and whatnot. Yeah, it just kind of fits her theme of like the Sass Nova, like Cosmos type thing.
So is this the liquid you were talking about? That is like emanating off of her. Is this, what's going on here?
So yeah, she's actually she's getting ready to draw a weapon. So she's gonna be using key serum energy to do that. And so it's gonna illuminate around her body, and as it's doing that, the signature what we want to do with key serums actually put that liquid, like the little liquid look, like the little bubbles that's inside of liquid or like soda or something. We
Hmm.
wanted to put it inside of like the key serum energy, just to give it like a signature to make it a little bit different from other energy
Yeah.
out there in the manga and anime world.
And then
But yeah,
wrapped around her wrist, is that like
uh-huh.
pencil holders? Like, do they have to have like special pencils or anything, or drawing devices?
uh For the other guys, they actually need the devices. Like it actually comes out later and gets explained a little bit, but they actually need those devices to be an artist. Like they're not actual artists with key serum energy itself. Like she's an actual artist, like born with that talent. So she's gonna have key serum energy within her body, and so when she draws, she actually doesn't need a real device. Like she can draw on anything, and what she actually uses on her wrist is a scroll. She has a wrist scroll.
Okay, and then that's kind of really amplified right here. I like how that
Uh-huh.
the scroll like plays into the paneling as well. Like it wraps around. Like, so does this scroll have like an infinite roll to it as well, or is there like any limitations to it?
Yeah, hers is probably not infinite. Like it's actual paper scroll. So she probably actually could run out of it. But I don't think it would come into play. I don't think it would come into play too much if she was like in a battle and she had to draw some weapons or whatever. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure she would have enough room to draw the weapons that she would need for any significant battle or any significant fight or whatever. But yeah, it's not
And
infinite
then
though.
right here we have a little bit more of a breakdown on what she uses a vintage scroll to draw as an artist instead of a palette. And a little bit
Yeah.
more of a breakdown with that as well too. So I liked how you kind of sprinkled that in without like clogging it up too much within the fight sequence.
Yeah, I actually had to redo these panels too, or did the dialogue here because it actually was kind of clogged up. So I kind of just made it a little bit shorter and just to the point, like just in the moment type explaining instead of like sit down and take a class type explaining.
And I really like this stance right here too. Her it looks like almost like a curved blade, and then there's like the Saturn trinket on the handle.
Oh yeah, yep. So she's gonna have that Cosmos thing going on her weapon as well, little Saturn planet. And then that's her signature weapon. Like it comes out later, but that's definitely her signature katana. So she has a signature squiggly katana. Like
Okay,
when I
and
was
then
designing it, I was kind of thinking of like the dragon, like the I think it's the Chinese dragon that they use for New Year's. That's kind of
mhm.
squiggly. Like I was thinking of that when I was designing her katana.
And I like this too. What would it be, the Beauty or the Beast? So I mean,
Oh
these
yeah.
guys are ready to take her down. What are these guys' problem? Like, why do they want to take her down so bad?
What it really is, I think it's because she was having a showcase, and what a lot of artists probably would do in this setting is they want to make a name for themselves. So what they're gonna
Hmm.
do is try to hunt down the big name. So she's having a showcase. Let's go to her showcase and try to show her up, and then make a name for ourselves, like as an artist. It's probably definitely one of those type of things.
And then right here we see her saying, "This is the punk that smashed the expensive ball." Quickly, like just making mincemeat out of SBD, Silent but Deadly.
Yeah, kind of disarming him a little bit. She disarms him and then kind of makes her way towards the lead antagonist.
And yeah, she's going straight for this guy first, and I love how confident he is. Not this time, but then she's like, think again. It almost feels like she's in complete control, and she's just toying with these guys like it's cat and mouse game almost.
Yeah, that's pretty much definitely what it is. And this page was kind of a callback to the earlier page where she got behind him and kind of kicked him.
Hmm.
So she does the same thing again, but that's why he's like, not this time. So he tries to stop it this time. And then she actually just pretty much gets out of his way, dodges him again quickly. And then she gets in front of him with a pretty much a swing. She's probably about to knock him away or something like that. But
And
then
then
that's when we get to reveal this guy. He's the new.
yeah,
He was pretty much the thug three that was hanging out in the shadows.
it looks like he's wielding a rather unique weapon too. Is this like a sword, or what's going on here? This is an interesting looking blade.
Yeah, it's one of those like wide square blades. Yeah, he would probably have to have some type of at least a little culture within him to want to draw that for sure.
And then things are starting to get climatic as well, as we see her going up against all three. And she's just laughing. She's just having a good time. So it seems like she's really in her element during this fight.
Oh yeah, fighting is definitely in Nova's element for sure. And then that bottom panel there, she was actually if you notice, she was actually drawing on her
Hmm.
wrist scroll as she was in the middle of the fight there. And that would be what I'm gonna call a quick sketch later. Like to label it as a quick sketch. Like they're gonna be quick sketching just so they can quickly materialize a weapon like mid fight.
Hmm.
And that'll come into play later for some like quick fighting, like hand to hand combat stuff. That's
And right
really
here we see her
that's
materializing
close up.
another blade too. It looks like.
Yeah. So she's gonna be blocking both of these guys' attacks at the same time, pretty much. It's like a more like a split second type thing. That's what the
Hmm.
quick sketch is gonna be. And there's the silent but deadly thug. He definitely grabs his hammer again, and he's gonna definitely try to rejoin the fight. Aaron kind of noticed, so she's gonna make pretty much make one of those impulse decisions that I was talking about again, and kind of get into the mix here. And
Oh
once
yeah,
she's
we
in
see
the
her.
mix,
She
yeah,
doesn't know what she's doing.
yeah, it's kind of like I'm here now, but I don't know what to do type thing.
And then we end. It looks
Yeah.
like she's starting to power up right now too. So was she aware that she had this ability like this?
She was not. Like I think we explained earlier, probably the first video or the second video. I think in chapter 1 or chapter 2 when I was just explaining Art of War. Pretty much people are born with artist powers, and if you're not born with artist powers, then you just don't have artist powers. You just are pretty much like a normal human, pretty much, and
Hmm.
you're not an artist, like the actual artist. But so Erin, she's been that her whole life. Like she's been normal with no powers, no artist powers. And for some reason, here's the like cliffhanger for chapter 5 is that she awakens artist powers, and that's key serum energy like exploding around her body.
Okay, so it looks like chapter 5 is leaving off on an interesting footnote, and chapter 6 is going to be one hell of a doozy, having her with Sassy Nova, like two natural born artists going up against three people who have to use pallets, to fight. So That sounds like it's going to be one hell of a showdown. Let me go ahead and get back to our normal window and we'll begin wrapping things up. So, Pam, what's, you're still focused on Art of War. Anything like else in the works that you're currently looking at, or is this still just the main focus for you right now?
Oh yeah, Art of War is like really the priority. It's because all the attention as far as like yeah, like I've made another webtoon and it never got like publisher attention at all. So making Art of War is fun because it just I don't know, it evolves every day because it's like every
Hmm.
day someone new is asking me about it and I'm getting like more bigger names. Like I think I told you last time, the Voice Me president or the creator, like the actual owner of the company, Voice Me, he actually he DM'd me himself, was asking about Art of War,
Wow, that's
and
awesome.
then oh yeah, I've oh yeah, Zenko, she's been on your show, and
Hmm.
actually she's becoming a really good friend in the manga industry. Like I've been asking her questions like every day, just in her inbox, just asking just something random
Yeah,
about how
Zenko
do I
is the
do this,
bomb.
or yeah, just how do I do this, or how should I go about this, or just any even from big things to small things like PDFs or just talking to a publisher and stuff like that. I've just been asking her all types of stuff. But recently, she actually hooked me up with a guy from Billy Comics. It's a big thing out there in China. He actually is interested in acquiring Art of War too. Like he's been in my email talking about that. So
Okay.
it's just been a lot of stuff going on as far as like people talking about the product of Art of War.
That's awesome.
Uh,
Congratulations,
yeah,
Pam. That's awesome.
yeah, it's been kind of fun in that aspect. The creation part, of course, been really fun too. Like I got the drafts down. I pretty much got it like streamlined how I'm gonna do each chapter now. Like when I talk to my artists or when I hand everything over to my artists, I give them a draft, like
Hmm.
a draft of the chapter that I do, and I give him an overview of what that chapter is about, just so we can have clarity on what everything is about, and then I give him the script so he can actually read the actual chapter, like the product, the work of it, and it's just been really efficient of how like each chapter has just been getting knocked out really fast, and he's really good
Absolutely.
about yeah, like talking about it and
We have
everything.
a gold RPG. Congrats on the hype and success. Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. I'm so stoked to see that you're getting eyes on this because you have such an awesome product, and that was the only thing you needed was just more eyes to get that exposure that you needed to get this product out there.
Yeah, and keeping it geekly has been big, like for sure,
Thank
like
you.
100%. Like I've been sending people like whenever you make the YouTube link available, I always send it out to people and they
Hmm.
watch it and get a good idea and they come back with all this good stuff, like how much they want to read it and all these questions. Like the interviews for sure, it's been like 100% really good.
Yeah,
They said
your interview.
I love it, I love it.
This one is 159. So, we've had you on the show 3 times now. I can't wait to get you back on. That's going to be the end of September. I think it's September 29th, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I know it's at the end of the month.
And we'll be breaking down
Um,
chapter 6. So I'm really excited for that. And Pam, you know the drill. You've been on here a couple times, so we always end these podcasts strong. And that's with me asking a question in particular. So let me try to spice it up for you a third time around. For anyone that is
mhm.
out there and they're struggling with talking to a publisher, talking to a different platform to get their book on there, what type of advice would you offer them to kind of help them get a little bit more confidence in doing so?
Uh, I would say just take a deep breath and kind of just realize like well what you're dealing with. Like when you're dealing with publishers,
Hmm.
they're actually people who like comics. They read comics and they like manga. They read manga. They love how the paneling goes. Like they love the small details, just like you do. Like you love the small details of your comic, like just the little stuff in a panel, how you slant a certain panel or why you did that and whatnot. Like they love all that stuff just like you do, and like don't be afraid to talk about the little details because the little details will probably lead to bigger relationships with them. Just by off the just the little details. Like people love little details just as much as you do. Be
Hmm.
confident to talk about what you like to talk about, And I guess don't be afraid to share. Like don't be like don't look at them like they're a publisher. They're about to come in and be like some type of shark who wants your product or something like that. They're interested because your product is a good product and it's a product that you love and it's a product that they're trying to see if they will love
Hmm.
it just as much as you do. Because if they do, then it probably will lead to a good partnership or a good relationship moving forward.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and I think building that confidence is key because if you can fake it until you make it, then I mean that's half the battle, right? Is getting that confidence to do so. So, thank you so much for
Oh
offering
yeah.
that, Pam. Everyone that's watching, this has been such an awesome breakdown. It is New Comic Book Day, and you can read Art of War for free. What chapters are available all on Global Comics? Is everything up to Chapter 5 available, or?
I know just chapter one. Only chapter one is on Global Comics right now, and I also added a new page on chapter one. Like it has an added page like at the beginning, at the very beginning of chapter one. So it's an added page there. And other than that, I would say if you check my bio on social media, I actually have a website now. Like it's artofwarmanga.com. And also in the bio of the Art of War page on Twitter, it's Art of War beta reading link. So if
Mhm.
you want to sign up for the beta reading link, it's definitely there. The beta read will be chapters 1 through 8 all together. So
And then
you
right
can
there
definitely
is right
get
there is the link to sign up as well for anyone watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch right now. So be sure to sign up for that. So what other websites can people find you on? Do you just have chapter 1 posted everywhere, or is there a chapter 2 somewhere?
nope, it's just chapter one is on Global Comics. Also have the chapter one on the website. If you go to the website, uh, yeah, there's nowhere else that I really have it.
And so
Like
you guys are gonna have to check out the last interviews. I'm gonna be posting those periodically through the video once this is in post production, because we actually do a deep dive of each of those chapters. I think we covered almost every single one, right?
yeah, I was just gonna say that if anyone's definitely interested, you can definitely rewatch the videos that we did here on Keeping It Geekly. We went through chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, just like we did today. So that'll be a perfect way to just get like
Yeah,
a really
yeah.
good preview before
I didn't even realize that
officially
until
drop
right
it.
now. Like, that's awesome,
Yeah.
man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Everyone watching, once again, New Comic Book Day. Be sure to check out Art of War. With that being said, it is time for us to wrap up. I hope you are all having a great time. Stay tuned. I want to say around noon or 1 p.m. EDT, we will be doing a playthrough of The Last Chronomancer from Gold RPG. Very excited for that playthrough. But with that being said, it is time for me to log off. Hope you all have an awesome day, but most importantly, keep it geekly.